thank you.
And fresh off speaking to Erik ten Hag as well, how was that?
Yeah, very good. He's obviously very informative, and it was a good insight into what this training camp's about and, season moving forward.
And Demps, I'm going to jump straight back into you because there's plenty of young lads on this trip, 11 of which were involved in the FA Youth Cup win. And I can imagine that you're here for many different roles, but in particular to help that transition for them from the academy into the first team.
Yeah, I think that's the idea, but to be fair to them, they don't need much help. I think they've equipped themselves really, really well. They've behaved how we would want them to behave, and they've acquitted themselves really well on the training field, as well as I'm sure Danny's seen and the rest of the staff have seen. So it's been terrific being a part of it.
Yeah, it seems like they're really enjoying it. Me and Webbs and Sam have all had the pleasure of watching the training. And Webbs, it's interesting when you look at the body language of certain players and see who's enjoying it out there.
Yeah, I mean, when the young lads are out there, I know that position where you're trying to impress, but you're trying to relax, and play your game, and then you make a mistake and you think it's not fatal, but you've got to get over yourself pretty quickly. And you're watching some of the boys out there, just it's all working for them, and other one or two of them are having to work through it, and then watching them come out the other side it's a really nice thing. So yeah, every single footballer out there always has their own mental battle to go through, and it's how you can deal with it. And we've got our own battle. We've got this cat that keeps running up, that keeps running around as well. If you can hear the cat, but no, we all got our challenges, and those boys are doing well.
Absolutely. And Sam, you've been watching training as well. Is there any bits in particular, any players that have stood out to you yet?
I just think the general atmosphere, really, everyone seems dead relaxed, and I know obviously they're working towards the friendlies, aren't they? And I was going to ask Mark as well, is that something that the young players are working towards, and they want to be involved in those games? It's a chance to play abroad. Obviously the game's being shown live on MUTV as well, so to a wider audience, so it's a good chance to...
Before that, Sam, it just reminded me of Joey Jones on the coach when we beat them in '77, and he said, I'm going to get home and kill that cat. Do you remember? You won't remember, I'm a lot older than you, but no, you're dead right. It's a great opportunity for them. That's what it's all about, being here, and as Danny said, they get tested physically, mentally, more than anything, and they've had tough sessions, as we've seen, but as I said before, they've coped really well with them, and now the icing on the cake is being part of a first team Manchester United side and going out and representing yourself and representing the academy, so we look forward to it.
Well, that's it as well. It's representing yourself on the pitch, but off the pitch as well, because I imagine whatever you do, how you go about your business, it's going to be seen by everyone, and you're representing Manchester United, so you've got to be on your toes.
It's a much bigger world now. There's so many. Danny will remember and certainly when I travelled with the first team, it was very close. There wasn't that many people around. It was far more intimate, if you like. Whereas now, as you say, there's so many people that you deal with, that it's important that they realise that everybody's just as important. Everybody at the football club is just as important as the gaffer, as Mitch is, and they have to treat them with the same respect. So it's a great learning curve for them.
It's interesting you say that, because Danny, we spoke earlier about when you've had experiences like these in the past and said that the amount of coaches that were there then in comparison to our now is incredible.
Yeah, it's mental. I think there's actually a picture, I think, here in 2001 when the team came. I think there was only 7 staff that came, and that included the manager, the coaches and the physios and the kitmen. Shows the growth of the football club, the growth of football in general, yeah. And as Demp says there's so many people watching. There's so many people who then have an opinion on you. So if you're sat as a staff afterwards and well, what was he like? And it can be one comment that makes you or breaks you, exactly. And that kind of thing. It's important. So that's another pressure that these young boys have to deal with.
It's our kind of output as well, isn't it? We're capturing all this content and stuff, and fans wanting to know how the young players are getting on. There's a lot of pressure. As soon as they get involved in the first team squad, the fans kind of think, that's a big thing, and they're looking out for those players and those names in the future.
Absolutely. I think the fans, as well as myself, want to know a little bit more about the schedule, what it involves, the different training that's done, the times. Is there any time to relax? Yeah,
it's busy. It's busy, and it feels like they're going to cram as much as they can into this week with the 2 games, and obviously with the load has